Hey guys, my name's Gloria and welcome back to my channel. A little bit of a change of scenery today, some lovely natural light that is blinding. One quick thing I want to mention is that I have signed up for the MS Readathon, and this is a charity readathon run in Ireland, I think exclusively, to raise money for multiple sclerosis and therapies and different medical treatments that people need for that. I was put onto this by my good friend Shauna over at Alice apparently, or SpookNookBooks. You should absolutely be following her bookstagram. She does great reviews of all kinds of books. She is an actual witch musician. She's studying a PhD in witchcraft at the moment, I think. She is just a fountain of absolute knowledge of all kinds of things, and you should definitely follow her. But she said that she was signing up for it. It runs for the month of November, and it used to just be for kids. They would do it through schools to raise money and to sort of encourage kids to read more books. And as a kid back then, it was an excuse for me to show off exactly how many books I could read. So people used to sponsor you 20 cents or €1 for every book you read, and people only gave me 20 cents because they knew I was going to read like 40 books. But they've now opened it up to adults as well to raise money. So Shauna said she was signing up, and I was like, I'm going to be reading a lot of books anyway, may as well raise some money for charity. So I'll leave my link down below if you want to give 50 cents, €1, whatever. It all goes to a great cause. I'll also leave Shauna's bookstagram down below as well. You should definitely check her out and give her a follow. She's very close to 1,000 followers, so help her out in that respect if you like witchy things. She's very into werewolves, so a lot of werewolf content there if that's what you're looking for. Happy Friday the 13th, and today I have another unique book, but this one is not unique in concept, more in execution. So the book I'm talking about today is Truth of the Shadows by Slade Templeton. So I was given this book as a review copy for my blog. Very kindly sent me a physical copy, and I'm very glad that he sent me that because I get to talk about the amazing cover. Now this is unique not for the actual story of the book, but because of the virtual experience, virtual reality experience that you get to enjoy after you finish the book. And also there is a music soundtrack, but I will get to those in a minute. So first of all, I just want to talk about this great cover. It's that lovely matte feel that I really like, that everyone's publishing in at the minute. It's got a great outside cover. It's got this Rorschach ink blot sort of style on the front, and it's got little clues to the story. There's some gnarly trees, there's the skull, there's some creepy figures as well. It is to do with a mental health institution, so the Rorschach ink blot test really does suit it. There is also, at the end of each chapter inside, there are these lovely little illustrations that I just thought were really nice. They tied in to an object that was important in each of the chapters. They're really nice little illustrations. There's also this cool creepy figure at the back, which is sure to give anyone nightmares. So the actual book revolves around a doctor. Can I remember his name? Dr. Joseph Hoffman. So Dr. Joseph Hoffman is originally from Germany, but he came to America and got his psychology degree, and he is now the head doctor at a mental health facility called Cottage Grove. And he deals with a lot of patients who are suffering from delusions and hallucinations, and his day-to-day is just going and talking to these different patients and trying to help them work through their issues. So he has some issues himself though. His wife tragically died, and because of this he's sort of thrown himself extra hard into his work, and he's a bit of a workaholic because of it. So his sister still lives in Germany with their very sick mother, and he keeps meaning to go and visit his mother, but he is reluctant to leave his patients. He feels like he will be failing them if he leaves them. But his mother is going a bit senile, but she is very adamant, speaking through his sister, who's very close to and speaks to a lot on the phone, that he needs to open a box that his grandfather left him. And he keeps saying, yeah, I'll get round to it, I'll visit soon. But unfortunately his mother does die, and that's sort of the catalyst that really makes him take some time off work and go back to Germany. But while he is out of Cottage Grove, strange things happen, mainly at night. There are some things that are just keeping all of the patients awake. The night workers there are just run ragged, trying to keep all the patients in their rooms, trying to keep them calmed down, trying to get them to sleep. They're all sort of bouncing off each other and keeping each other awake. And he has for once turned off his phone and said, I'm not dealing with any work right now, I'm with family. And he's also looking through the things that his grandfather has left him. But he also sees some strange things. So he sees who he thinks is his wife, he sees some strange entities, and when he comes back he finds the hospital in complete disarray. The patients are just, I won't say going crazy, but patients are acting very strangely, and he knows there's something wrong, and he starts to get the feeling that perhaps the delusions and the strange things that his patients are seeing and hearing inside the hospital might not be just inside their heads, and maybe he's seeing them too. So it's him coming to terms with some of his own past, and it's dealing with sort of mental health empathy and empathy towards people with mental health issues. And a lot of the patients in this book talk about just wanting people to listen to them and not completely dismiss everything they're saying and just load them up with drugs to keep them quiet, which I can agree with. So it is, the actual story itself completely, it's good, it's interesting, there's some darkness there's some weird sort of historical, mythical stories in there, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding it as well that this doctor has to try and figure out to get through to his patients and to figure out what is going on. It was good. I think the story itself I would give maybe a 3.5. It was a little bit repetitious at some times, but it was still good. It was a paranormal, freaky, strange kind of a story, and the mental health, like the therapy and the help that was given to the patients at times, it was repetitive, and it was also not helpful. It just seemed like he would go and ask them how they were doing. They would say, I'm seeing weird people in my room that don't exist, and he'd go, okay, well you should stop doing that, we'll work on that. And then a nurse would come in and give them some kind of a drug, and it just didn't seem like they were really working through a lot. I've never been in a mental health facility myself, so I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but it just didn't seem like it would actually help them. But it was still a good book, I still really enjoyed it. However, I shall be giving this book at least a 4-star because of the presentation, because of the work that went into the designing of the cover. But not only that, when you reach the end of the paperback copies, there is a website that you can visit, and there is a login code and a username, if I can find it just here. And this allows you to log into the virtual reality experience. Now the book ends with, not really a cliffhanger, but it's not 100% period ended. So I was kind of thinking, is there going to be another book? Is it going to be a series? And the virtual reality experience confirmed that there will be. So once you log in to this website, it's almost like the internal website for the Cottage Grove Hospital, and you can log in to Dr. Hoffman's notes, his evaluations of all the patients. You can log into emails and messages that he was sent throughout the book and that he's sent as well. It just added such depth to the characters, and it also has some messages and some notes that were taken after this book ends, so that you know there's definitely going to be more to the story than this. I just thought that was really interesting. I've never gotten that before with a book, and it's really adding new media to fiction and a new experience to it, and I think it's great. Like, this is something we can do now with the technology we have and stuff. So I think that was really interesting, and it was really a nice touch to add to the book. Other than that, I'm a little reluctant to speak about this. I did ask the author if it was okay if I talked about this, and he said absolutely. So there were 100 limited edition hardbacks that are completely sold out now. He has told me that they're thinking of doing another sort of run of them, and I think he absolutely should, because there is a QR code in the limited edition hardback for the soundtrack. So the author himself, Slade Templeton, he's a Switzerland-based, American-born musician and record producer, and now author, living in Bern. So he made music for each of the chapters, and it's almost like sort of movie soundtrack slash video game music almost, and he's even got great voice actors doing like little bits of dialogue or little bits of parts of the characters of the book, and the music is fantastic. This guy, obviously he's a record producer and musician, he knows his way around a MIDI keyboard, but it's fantastic. I've been listening recently to music from the new Doom video game, and I love that. This is just, it's so atmospheric, it's so... I didn't have access to it when I was reading the book. He gave it to me after I said that I'd read it and I was ready to review it. I think it really would have brought me further into the book. It would have added yet another layer to the story. The music is so well composed, and it's so creepy, and there's just so much about it. I really like the music, and I really wish that it was included with every copy. I know they wanted to have it as like a special kind of thing for the hardbacks, but I think even if they put it as like, once you buy this you can pay a little extra to get access to the soundtrack, the music is great. I think it's fantastic, and if they do bring out more hardbacks, and if you want to buy this book, I would recommend getting the hardback, because it's worth it just to hear that music. The music is fantastic. So Truth of Shadows for me is a really unique book for all of the outside added things to the experience. I would definitely recommend just buying it for the story. It's a paranormal, freaky, sort of dark entity that's trying to enact some revenge on these people, and it is a good story. It's well written. If you can get a hold of the soundtrack as well, it's absolutely fantastic, and I think the VR experience just really adds to it. It was just a fun, interesting thing, and if you really get into the story and really get into the characters, I think, especially if they're continuing it as a series, it's going to be really interesting to get into those characters' lives a lot more. So highly recommend this unique book. So that is my review for today. I hope you're having a cool Friday the 13th and nothing terrible happens. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, you can like and subscribe down below. I'll be back very soon with more book reviews and an update on some of my writing as well, and my NaNoWriMos. And I shall see you in the next video.